Hey everyone, it's Jeannie, and today I am taking part in Trinity Stamps' February new release YouTube hop, and I am sharing this cereal inspired card. I am using the set Pot of Gold, Rainbow, My Lucky Charm, and the Little Charms die set. So I will be starting off with the Pot of Gold stamp set, and I'm not inking up this entire stamp because I just want the gnome and the pot that he's sitting on. I'll be doing some fussy cutting because there are images that I don't need or want. I will just be removing them. I didn't want the little gold coins on the pot as well, so I just wiped them off, and they kind of show up a little bit, but it's okay because I'll be coloring it black anyway, so you will not see it. It's really light. For any of the lines that I don't get like a good impression on, I'll just go back in and trace it over. I just didn't want to go super heavy, mainly because I didn't want to mess with that pot of gold, even though it's just the 2 coins there. For my coloring, I'm just going in with my usual Copic markers. It's usually 3 colors per area, and I go in with my darkest first to shade out everywhere that I think that will be shaded, and then I'll go in with my medium color, leaving a white highlight, and that will be colored in with my lightest color. So nothing too spectacular here. And I am going off of the Lucky Charms cereal box. When I first had seen this release, this was the first thing that came to mind, and I thought that it would be so fun. I had toyed with the idea of doing a shaker card so the marshmallows kind of shake around, and then I toyed with the idea of doing a pop-up box, but you know what, I just went with a normal A2 card panel because it was the easiest to recreate. I didn't want to complicate it more than it had to be because there are quite a few parts to this particular card. So for the Trinity YouTube hop, I will have a list of the rules and the lineup, including the next stop, down below in my description box. If you are interested in possibly winning a prize, leave a comment. And we also have an Instagram hop over on Instagram. I will leave my Instagram handle down below as well, and that's a separate prize, so you have a chance to win 2 different prizes, and I'll have all the details down below because I don't have them on top of my head. If you have any questions, you can leave a comment and I will answer it. Back to the card. I am still just coloring, so I always tend to include everything that I am doing for my card, especially the coloring, because I find it fun to watch. And although it is sped up, I've sped it up 4 times. I do not color this fast. I wish. I just like to leave everything, and it's been a little bit more difficult because I tend to go with color heavy cards, and even though this includes die cuts and all of that, I end up Copic coloring everything because that's just my preference. If you guys ever want to see anything slowed down or a more detail just on the coloring itself, let me know. But I tend to include them in my cards because I like to include the card from start to finish, and that's just my personal preference. This one is a little bit longer because of all the coloring that is involved. With the pot, it kind of gave me a little bit of an issue because I really wanted that highlight there, but you just have to keep on adding color so it just stays blended. I am fussy cutting my image, and I am going to speed through this because I am going to save you the trouble of watching me fussy cut this entire thing. There are some areas where it got a little touchy, but I was able to do it pretty carefully, and I just took some time. I was watching some shows and I was kind of mindlessly cutting but paying attention. And you'll notice that the pot handles, I just left it white because I wasn't going to deal with trying to cut those out. And usually with those areas, I'll just go in with a Copic marker that will match. I took the Rainbow die set and I basically placed it at the corner of my A2 panel because I wanted the rainbow to come from the side. And I'll go in with my Copic colors, and I can't help myself. I had to use 3 different colors. I think it just adds a bit of dimension. So my darkest color is at the bottom of the ray, and then it moves to the lightest. And honestly, most of the rainbow is kind of covered up, so you don't really need to do this at all. I thought more of it would show than it did, and if I knew, I probably just would have used 1 or 2 colors. I still can't help it because I like how the ombre looks, and yeah, It's just something that I just can't seem to stray away from. For my Little Charms dies, I do back a piece of Nina Solar Crest 80-pound cardstock with a scrapbook.com double-sided adhesive, and this is my trick for dealing with die cuts. And especially because I'm going to be coloring them with Copic markers, I rather have them all in one place, kind of stable for me to color versus cutting them out of colored cardstock, trying to add ink blending to it. And here I'm actually going in with a 2 Copic marker combo because that's enough to create like a shadow. If you look at the Lucky Charms marshmallow cereal box, you can see that they have little shadows and it looks 3D. So I'm kind of trying to create that same effect here where I'm just using the dark color to create the shadow, and then I'm going to go in with my lighter color, and it kind of creates that shadowy 3D look that I really like on the marshmallows, and I think it just gives it a little bit more dimension. And this is why I like to color my die cuts, because I'm able to give that dimension. I am moving on to my Lucky Charms sentiment, and I really love this sentiment. I've used this in a bunch of cards already, but I'm really focusing only on the Lucky Charm portion. So I will be stamping with Versamark ink because I will be heat embossing with gold. I am using Ink on 3's Gold Rush, and I think that it's a really bright gold that looks really pretty. So originally I was kind of concerned because the Lucky cuts out weird with the die cut, and I actually didn't realize that it cuts the inside portion too. But I wanted the Lucky to be completely gold. So I'll go ahead, die cut out the charm first, and then I'll repeat stamping out the Lucky and the charm. And I have this gold paint pen that just happened to match my embossing powder almost perfectly. And so I just went in and colored that up really quickly, and it looks so cool. I just really wanted the Lucky charm to really pop. On the cereal box, it's kind of like a colored in yellow gold, but you know what? I just went with gold because I really wanted it to stand out. And with the Lucky being so bold anyway, it just really pops. So I went ahead and die cut this out, and the paint was kind of still wet, so it stuck to my die cut, which I'm kind of bummed about, but it's okay. And then it kind of removed some of the paint, so I actually had to go in and re-add the gold, but I don't include the clip of that here because we have so much coloring anyway. I am about to put everything together and I'm super excited. So for the rays, like I said, I had cut it at an angle, so it's on an A2 panel and it just fits perfectly. I use my Misty a lot to kind of line up my items because it's a stable corner, and that way I make sure that everything is put together the way it should be. And I think this looks really cool. There are 7 rays, but I opted to only use 6 because that's how many colors was on the rainbow for the Lucky Charms cereal box. So I just kind of wanted to copy that. I decided that I just want the Lucky Charm to go right at the very top, and then later I'll be using a supplemental sentiment from the Simply Sentimental Lucky stamp set for it to say "you are," so it can say "you are my Lucky Charm." And I thought that was really cute because I really didn't want to say Lucky Charms because it's kind of a weird card to give if it just says Lucky Charm. So I definitely wanted to have a sentiment that actually made sense if I were to give this to somebody. For the die cuts, like I had stated previously, it's on double-sided adhesive, so it kind of works like a sticker. This does come cut with a border, but because I didn't intend to use that at all, I am only using the interior portion of the marshmallow, and I do have to pull up the charm in some areas just so I can sneak the marshmallows right underneath. I had thought about adding it right behind the Lucky, but it was so bold that I felt like it was a waste to put marshmallows there. And you had noticed I had die cut this twice because I thought I would be able to use so many more marshmallows than I actually did. And then for the gnome, I actually cut his hand a little bit so he could hold one of these marshmallows. It was because he was holding balloons, so I had to make it look like it made sense. So I just cut around his thumb area and inserted the rainbow because the rainbow is like a pretty good choice, and also I didn't really think this through, so that was the one that was left, or the star, and I wanted to do the rainbow because I just like rainbow. Then I go ahead and add glue behind the gnome, and then I will stick him down on my panel. This card comes together so nicely and I'm so excited. I had referenced the cereal box. I just Googled it online and I just found one where all the items that I had would fit for this card. It also has like these sparkle details, which I also included in another card that I used the same Lucky Charm stamp set, and it's such a neat trick that I will probably use more and more often because it's so easy. It's just a white gel pen, and I have these Arteza gel pens that I got off of Amazon, and they come in 3 different sizes. It comes in a 0.6, 0.8, and a 1.0 for the thickness of it. And by adding these different size white dots, it kind of creates a sparkle effect. And so I kind of go crazy with it, and I think it just gives it that something extra that it really needed, because although it looked fine without the white dots, I think it just makes everything look like it's sparkling. I really like that. I had originally intended to go in and possibly cut my rainbow from glitter paper, but I really don't love die cutting glitter paper because it's not the easiest to cut through because of the glitter, I guess. I never really have a great time doing so, and that's why I opted just to stick with the Copic markers. But once everything's done, I have a few pieces hanging off and I'll just trim that down, and my cereal box card is almost complete. I just needed to add that supplemental sentiment from the Simply Sentimental Lucky set, and I really love the Simply Sentimental line. It just has sentiments for every occasion and it's so perfect. It comes with different fonts and all of that. Remember to leave a comment for a chance to win the YouTube giveaway, and stop by Instagram to leave a comment over there as well. And I will see you guys next time with another video. Bye!